you, Mr. Chair. Here's the fundamental question. Why don't they want to know? Why don't the Democrats want to know how many citizens are in the United States of America? That's a fundamental question. You go anywhere in this country, you go Columbus, Ohio, Boston, Massachusetts, you go anywhere in this country, you walk up to someone on the street and you say, you know what, the Constitution requires us to do a census. Do you think we should find out how many citizens are in the country? You know what that person's going to say? Well, heck yes. Aren't you doing that already? And you know what the answer to that question is? Yes, we've been doing it for 100 and some years. Until now, the Democrats don't want to ask that fundamental question. So the real question for the hearing today is, why don't they want to know? Everyone else in the country assumes it's already being done. It is already being done. You're going to do it the exact same way it's always been done. And they're asking you about conversation. Mr. Secretary, it's probably appropriate for a cabinet secretary to talk to other important people in the government when you're making important decisions, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Yes, sir.
It's called governing.
Yes.
That's how this great system we live in works. Now, the chairman said, ask this question is unconstitutional. It's been said 100 times, but just once again for the record, how many years have we asked the citizenship question on some form of the census?
I believe it's been asked quite routinely for over 120
Over 100 years. And again, every single, it's common sense. You talk to any American across this country and say, of course you need to ask that question. Aren't you doing it already? Yes. Over 100 years, we've been doing it. And now, but you did the added thing. You said, you know what? I'm going to check with folks. I'm going to make sure we're doing it right. Right?
Yes, sir.
And you were explicitly told by not just any old agency, you were explicitly told by who? The Justice Department, right?
Yes, sir.
They sent you a letter. What's the date on this?
December 12th,
December 12th, 2017. They sent a letter to Dr. Ron Jarman, who works for you, right, Mr. Secretary?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Jarman works for you, and this letter is from the Justice Department, Arthur Gary, General Counsel, Justice Management Division of the Justice Department. Is that right?
That is correct, sir.
And let me just read from this letter sent by the Justice Department to the guy who runs the census, the U.S. Census Bureau, who works for you, certified return receipt 701421200000 80644964, the official letter, and here's what they said. The department formally requests that the Census Bureau reinstate into the 2020 census a question regarding citizenship. Is that right, Mr.
Yes,
Secretary?
it is, sir. Yes, sir.
And so that's why that's why you're putting it on the census.
That's what triggered our investigation into it, yes.
And of course you had conversations. You're getting ready for Mr. Meadows has had hearings after hearings along with Mr. Connolly, how the Commerce Department is getting ready for the census in the previous administration, in your administration. There are all kinds of conversations that take place, but you still wanted a formal request from the Justice Department before you proceeded, and that's exactly what they gave you.
Yes, sir.
And there is nothing unconstitutional about that whatsoever.
Not to the best of my knowledge, sir.
No, this is common sense. It's common sense to ask the question. It's common sense to follow the procedures and process that you followed. And here we are having a question, and guess what? The Democrats don't want to ask it. So I'm back to where I started. Why? Why? Why don't we want to know? That's the question we need answered, and not from you, frankly from them. Because you can go talk to anyone across this country, and everyone would say, ask that question. The only people opposing it are Democrats in Washington, D.C. Democrats, Republicans, independents, libertarians, Green Party people, anyone across the country. You know what? They're saying, well, yeah, ask the question. I thought we did it all along. And the answer to that is, we have been doing it all along. But now they want to change. And that's the part that troubles me. And frankly, when the American people see this, that's the part I think troubles them. That's the part that troubles them. And you're just doing it as best you can, and you have a formal directive from the Department of Justice saying, put the question on the census. Imagine that. You went above and beyond what, frankly, I think you would have to do. But that's how you did it.
Yes, sir.
I got 25 seconds. I was fired up, but I'll yield the last 25 to my